The following interview involves commercial content. The products and services featured appear as paid advertising.
We're now going to take a few minutes to discuss an important aspect to health: when and how to get screened for colorectal cancer, also known as colon cancer. This is the second leading cancer killer in men and women age 50 and over. Joining us today is Dr. Dennis Ahnen from the Anschutz Medical Center. So nice to have you here. Such an important topic, isn't it?
Oh, it is an important topic, and it's a treat to be here. Thank you for having us to launch this March Colon Cancer Awareness Month.
Absolutely. We've got some exciting things to talk about. But first, how can people protect themselves from colorectal cancer?
Well, this is really a good news story because colon cancer is truly a preventable disease. In contrast to many other cancers, not only can you detect colon cancer early, but by appropriate screening, you can identify the precursors to cancer, like polyps in the colon, remove them before colon cancer is ever developed. So you can both detect cancer early at a time when it can still be cured surgically, but even prevent it by removing polyps. So screening is the most important way to prevent colon cancer for really everyone.
Now, are there symptoms that people can look out for when they get to a certain age, or what can we be aware of?
There are symptoms that colon cancers can cause. However, those symptoms are usually relatively late in the course. Early colon cancer typically has no symptoms. So there really are no early symptoms of colorectal cancer. And so that's why screening is so important, is to identify not only the cancers, but the precursors when there are no symptoms and prevent the cancer from occurring.
Let's talk about a quick couple of tips or facts, if you will, and such as, who's at risk and how common this cancer is.
Well, you mentioned at the beginning, it's the second most common cause of cancer death in the United States. So it's an important cancer. The major risk factors for colon cancer include age. It's uncommon before age 40 in average risk people, that is people with no family history of colon cancer. And then the incidence increases about twofold, doubles every decade or so until around age 80.
Wow.
So age is an important determinant. In addition, a family history of colon cancer is an important risk factor. So people who have a close relative, a parent, a sibling, or a child with colon cancer at increased risk themselves and need to be screened earlier.
And we were talking earlier how screening is saving lives, obviously, but it's the education too. You have brought an educational tool here, so why don't you tell us about this and what we're looking at?
Yes, I have. I brought an educational. Isn't this cute?
It is cute.
This is your colon.
It's cuter than I thought it would be.
It shows a lot of the abnormalities that can occur in the colon. This is an inflamed appendix down here, but that's not what we're talking about today. So the colon actually is located all around the periphery of your abdomen, and it starts where the small bowel enters into the colon, and then there are segments of the colon. What's depicted here are polyps of the colon, and this is a depiction of a colon cancer. But polyps and cancer can occur anywhere in the colon, anywhere along the colon. And one of the important mechanisms of screening for colon cancer is to insert a video scope into the colon so that you can see polyps and cancers and other diseases, but then you can remove polyps before they can go to cancer, develop into cancer, and therefore that's why it's preventable.
Yeah. Now, so should anybody be screened before 40? You were saying if it runs in the family, but are there other situations?
Right. So the recommendations to screen in the general population and average risk people, that is people that have no history of polyps before, no history of colon cancer, and no inflammatory bowel disease, is to start at age 50. So we start screening at age 50 in the general population.
Okay.
But there are certain populations that should start earlier. That is, if you have a first-degree relative, a close relative with colorectal cancer, or particularly if you have many relatives in your family that have colon cancer, or if there are people in your family that have had lots of polyps, like more than 10 polyps of the colon. Those are some of the signs that suggest that it might be a hereditary syndrome. And hereditary, just like in breast cancer, where we know about hereditary syndromes, there are very well-defined hereditary syndromes for colon cancer that the genetic basis is understood. You can do gene testing. You can identify members of the family. So this is an important group. The family history, knowing your family history history of colon cancer
and
is
it's
really
important to talk about it in the family. So talk about cost and if insurance pays for this.
So actually, this is a good news story too. Insurance, almost all insurance programs now are required to cover colon cancer screening, including many of the newly insured folks who've been insured as a result of expansion of Medicaid. Medicaid, Medicare, and all the major insurers cover colon cancer screening, so that I think it's taken away at least part of the barrier of cost for screening.
Sure. Well, we're dressed in blue, not by coincidence, for a reason. So talk about you're hosting the Dress in Blue Eve event. So share the details of that, please.
We are, and thanks for dressing in blue today to help this. So as I mentioned, March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month, and the first Friday in March has been designated Dress in Blue Day. The whole goal here is to increase the awareness of colorectal cancer, to inform people about how the importance is and how preventable this disease is. And so tonight on Dress in Blue Eve, we're hosting an event at the City and County building where it'll be draped in lights and blue, and Larry Walk from the health department will talk. And it's really a vigil to honor both individuals who've been affected with colon cancer, but to celebrate the fact that the incidence and mortality of colon cancer is decreasing steadily in this country, and to take an opportunity to thank some people as well.
Fantastic.
So we welcome anybody to come.
Certainly. Screening is the key. Dr. Ahnen, thank you so much for joining us. We have learned understanding colorectal cancer and getting screened in a timely manner is very important. So for more information, go online to cancer.org or call 1-866-227-7914. The Dress in Blue Eve event is tonight, March 5th at the City and County building, starting at 6 p.m. For tickets, go to cucancerfund.org/dressinblue. The CRC task force paid for this segment.